violence and other kind of violence.
Guess what? I could be at work, at school, in my car, and I can still get shot by the police. But I can get shot anywhere.
So it is what it is.
What's good, YouTube? It's the Black Gen Z Mindset. Make sure you go ahead and like, comment, share, and subscribe. And let's get into the video. So, guys, we got a crazy one for you today. There was an altercation at a Huntington Wendy's, and it leaves one injured. Now, I did another story, but this was in Louisiana in a Wendy's, and the guy actually pulled a gun on the customer. Well, this one is a little different, but it's almost the same type of situation. So anyways, I'm going to get into it. Around 11 p.m. on October 5th, a man drove through this Wendy's drive-thru for a meal. When he noticed his food was cold, things then took an unexpected turn. He was like, "Mama, I really thought he was going to go back and get my food right and bring it back." He said, "It shocked me when he threw the grease on me," said the mother of the victim in statement WBBJ7 Eyewitness News. When the victim ordered his food, he realized his order was cold and went back through the drive-thru to get a refund, as you should. If somebody messed your order up, man, you go back, you get the refund, you do what you got to do, and you keep it pushing. You know, nobody expects the employee to react like this, but as you guys can see, this is what the employee looks like. He's a brother, and I don't know what it is, but every time I go through the drive-thru, if it is a sister, she has an attitude with me or she hits on me. It depends on if I'm with my girl or not. If I'm with my girl, she definitely has an attitude with me. If I'm alone, sometimes they'll hit on me or sometimes they won't. But, you know, it's not something where you're going to trip about. But a lot of times when it's a brother in the drive-thru window, no communication, he hands you the food, doesn't say, you know, have a nice day or anything like that. And I don't expect Wendy's to be Chick-fil-A, right? But, you know, there are just like antisocial behaviors that a lot of our young brothers exemplify, and you can see it clearly in any drive-through window in America. McDonald's, Wendy's, Burger King, it doesn't matter. It just so happens to be Wendy is on demon time at this moment, okay? The video shows that the young man, the employee, left the drive-through window and went to the cooking area and got a container cup of hot oil from the French fry vet, came back, opened the window back up, and threw it on the man that was making the complaint, said Walter Smothers, public safety director for the Huntington Police Department. The shift manager at the time was Damaris Pritchett. The two didn't know each other well, but Pritchett stated that the victim was harassing him for the past couple of months. The young man threw his arms up to shield his face. The brunt of the oil hit his underarm, down his side. He had second and third degree burns, blisters, and so forth on his arms, Smothers said. After the altercation, the victim was rushed to Baptist Memorial Hospital in Huntington, where he was treated for extreme burns and blistering. And this was in Tennessee, guys. I have not spoken with any representative from Wendy's to find out what action they may or may not be taking. That's completely up to them. For our part, we will be prosecuting as enthusiastically as we can. So they want to throw the book at him down there in Tennessee, and I don't blame them. You throwing hot grease on a customer is crazy. That's crazy, but, you know, I mean, like I said, man, a lot of these dudes in the drive-thru window is on demon time. And he's lucky he's lucky that the Wendy's manager didn't pull out a strap. The fact that he was the shift manager and is still behaving like this tells you a lot about the culture. It tells you a lot about how we tend to go about solving our problems, and it's got to change. So anyways, here is the police report that was filed. I just want to, you know, let you guys know and see that, and y'all can take a look at it. But hey, man, I don't know. Wendy's is on fire. I'm not going to say stay away from Wendy's because they just switched up they sea salt fries and them joints be bussin'. But, I mean, these employees, these fast food employees is definitely on demon time.
Our other top story tonight, the Oakland County Sheriff says 32-year-old Keith Taylor beat his 75-year-old employer because he thought his paycheck was short.
And now Taylor is in jail tonight facing 1 count of assault with intent to do great bodily harm, less than murder. Larry Spruill is live tonight. And Larry, that video is really just difficult to watch.
Yeah, good evening, Kimberly and Jason. The Oakland County Sheriff's Office says the details of this case are just very disturbing in so many ways. That's because the employee physically attacked his boss, who is an elderly man, all because of his paycheck was short.
Guys, I mean, I keep talking about these employees, and what this does right here, for one, the Mexicans have taken our trap. They have taken the lane of, you know, working for cheap labor and stuff like that. We all know that. They took our trap. Black men are supposed to be tradesmen. Black men are supposed to be, well, not supposed to be, but we were the ones who pretty much had the trades and all that stuff on lock. We knew how to do roofing. We knew plumbing. We knew all that kind of stuff. But now the Mexicans have taken our trap, and we have evolved into something else. So the dominant field of work for black men is, I would say, maybe trucking. I would have to do my research, but like they took a lot of our trap.
Now, I got to tell you, and I got to warn you, the details and the video you're about to watch are both disturbing. And
some of the reason why that is because of instances like this, maybe. But what I find is a lot of times when it comes to black-owned businesses, the service may be lacking, the customer service may be lacking, the quality of the product may be lacking, you know, the timeline for when things are supposed to get done may be lacking. So, you know, these are things that we as black men have to fight against, especially if you're going to be an entrepreneur or, you know, just be an employee working. You have to fight against other stereotypes of other guys doing things like this, and you know it's gonna get crazy.
32-year-old Keith Demetrius Taylor is in trouble Friday night and facing 1 count of assault with intent to do great bodily harm.
Yo, I don't even know how he got hired for the job. I guess it's landscaping, so you don't have to look any type of way, but this dude looks like he's geeked up out of his mind.
Less than murder. That charge stems from this video right here. Taylor is this man standing about 6 feet 3 inches tall. You can see him kicking his employer, who is 75 years old and 5 feet 8 inches tall, outside of a Rochester Hills business on Starbat Drive.
This is a problem too, man. Why do brothers like bullying old people? We see this a lot when with the Asian men, the Stop Asian Hate. The ones who are, and I already said this, the ones who are going to be affected by the Stop Asian Hate crime bill are African American men, because we're the main culprits who are putting in work on Asian men. I keep saying it, and it's unfortunate, but we've been robbing the bodegas. We've been robbing the Asians. We've been robbing the Indians. This is a pastime for us. So it's unfortunate that this man did what he did, and this old dude had to get beat down like that. But sheesh, I mean, do you think that guy's ever going to hire? I mean, he doesn't have much time in his life yet, but do you think he'll ever hire a brother again?
Is tall, outside of a Rochester Hills business on Starbat Drive. Deputies say his employer owns a landscaping company, and they were finishing cutting the lawn. The two got into an argument over the paycheck. Taylor said it was short. Oakland County Sheriff's Office say Taylor repeatedly kicked his boss in the head, leaving him unconscious. He then kicked him again when he tried to get up. Taylor has outstanding warrants in Detroit on assault charges and 3 traffic warrants from Highland Park.
So we got outstanding warrants, and they say, man, you know, it's so hard for a brother to come out after catching felony charges and this, I mean, and gain employment and this, that, and the third. I mean, this is one of the reasons why, man.
And that's not it. He also has a drug and endangerment convictions in Phoenix, Arizona, a domestic violence
I told you he was geeked up.
conviction in Scottsdale, Arizona. We're live tonight. Larry Sproul, Local 4.
Just awful. So, Larry, what happens next with Taylor?
Yeah, and so Kimberly, he is due back in court on October 19th. That's where he will face the charges for the video, and we're still trying to figure out the rest of those charges in Arizona, when he'll face those as well.
Okay.
I mean, this brother has a rap sheet. This brother has a rap sheet longer than the Dead Sea Scrolls, man. I mean, at this point, it's like, man, I don't see the bias. I don't see the criminal justice, heavily racial thing that we always see. If these guys can have this many charges and still be free and still get a job, but then beat his employer up.
Larry, thanks.
Surrounding the death of Jelani Day is growing. Authorities still searching for answers after the 25-year-old grad student's body was found floating in the Illinois River. Day's family says they suspect foul play, and they still are looking for answers. We're going to talk to...
So we're going to speak about this Jelani Day situation. I spoke on it before. I'm pretty sure that, you know, this is another instance of black on black crime, although we don't know who the culprits are. But when you hear this story and how it's described, a lot of people are trying to make it seem like it's like some serial killer and he's doing some type of stuff. I'm almost certain that's not the case. It's in Illinois. It's in Chicago area. I'm almost certain that it is another brother who unfortunately murdered Jelani Day.
To Jelani's mother, Carmen, in just a moment. But first, Alex Perez with what we know so far.
A growing mystery surrounding the death of Illinois State University grad student Jelani Day. Day, who was studying to be a doctor, was living and going to school in Bloomington, Illinois. He was last seen on campus August 24th. 2 days later, his car found an hour north in the town of Peru. A week after that, his body found floating in the Illinois River. The Day family's attorney says loved ones suspect foul play.
The wallet was found in a different area. The lanyard, which had his school ID on it, was not found with the wallet. It was found in a different area.
Authorities so far only calling the circumstances surrounding the disappearance unusual.
The way his vehicle was, you know, it was off of a parking lot. That's very unusual to just find a car like that.
Investigators now working to retrace Day's final movements.
The 25-year-old's death has garnered the attention of Viola Davis, Lizzo, and other celebrities.
So we've got celebrities coming out, which is a good thing, okay? Which is a good thing. Now, what we need from them now is to do the follow-up. What we need from them now is when the culprit, if they are found, which we know that 95% of these murders in Chicago, for one, are not captured, and for two, not prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law because of you know, the prosecutors down there in Chicago, all right, and their political system and how their inner workings work. So a lot of these dudes are getting off with lighter sentences, okay?
Thank you so much to our Alex Perez for that report and the latest on where it stands. Now, with the recent rise of attention to missing persons cases, it's important to note that as of December 2020, the FBI had more than 89,000 active missing persons cases. 45% of those cases are people of color. I'd like to bring in Jelani's mom now.
And I guarantee out of that 45% of missing persons cases, I guarantee out of that 45%, 99% of those were caused by black on black crime. I can almost guarantee it.
Carmen, for more on the search to find out what exactly happened to her son. Carmen, I know this is still a very tough time for you, and we really appreciate you being with us this morning.
Thank you for having me this morning.
So y'all see the tequila in the background. Just pay attention. She drinking her, she drinking her pain away, obviously, but I don't blame her.
At this moment, what do you want our viewers to know about your son's case?
At this moment, my son's case is open. As of September 23rd, I did request for the Illinois State Police to take over. I do know that they are working with Peru and Bloomington and LaSalle County police departments. I also know that the behavioral analysis unit from the FBI is involved. I don't know how that part of it works. From what I understand, they are analyzing Jelani. I don't understand that really, but whatever it takes to find out what happened to him, that's what I want them to do. I want them to use their tools and their resources so that we can find out what happened to Jelani, because he did not disappear in midair.
Right, and Carmen, as you know, investigators have said, and they suspect foul play. Do you think you know who the killer may be?
Well, investigators never said they suspected foul play. I had to let them know that there was some foul play because they tried to set up this narrative that Jelani could have possibly parked his car in this wooded area, walked himself to this riverbank, took off his clothes and put himself in the water.
Okay, interesting.
That's absolutely false. My son was a swimmer. He knew how to swim. He would not commit suicide. His faith in God was too much, and he knew from what we were taught in our religion that suicide automatically takes you to hell. So Jelani would.
Oh Lord, man, she going all the way in.
And did any of that. So it was me who had to make sure they understood that there was foul play involved, because they wanted to just pass it off and give me some type of inclination that this is what Jelani did to himself.
So she's basically saying the cops weren't trying to do their job until she applied pressure. And, the reason why they probably weren't really taking this situation seriously, unfortunately, is because there are so many other black people who not only go missing, but pass away in Chicago. The police force is overwhelmed. They've defunded their police. They're not prosecuting these violent offenders. So this is the bureaucratic, I would say the bureaucratic walls that are put up when you defund your police department, when you got the mayor Lori Lightfoot talking bad on her police force, and when you've got different prosecutors who aren't prosecuting these crimes. Okay, so you have a overwhelming of the police department, and it's like they want to push everything off and deal with some of the more pressing, which I'm not saying that his situation isn't pressing, but they want to deal with other crimes that they may have been investigating, and they're just overwhelmed. So, we need to get the funding back to the police department. We need to get support back to them, because they are not able to do their jobs because the people are telling them not to.
And he did not.
Well, this is why Jelani was an aspiring doctor and such an amazing young man, because of a mom like you, clearly strong, brave, and doing everything she can for her son. And you know, Carmen, his death has garnered the attention of so many people and celebrities like Viola Davis and Lizzo. Has that helped you with this case, just getting it in the public eye with people like this and this type of platform? Has it made a difference for you?
What it's done for me has shown me that people, no matter their celebrity status, have looked at my son and known that he is a person that needed to be found. He needed to receive help. And these people felt, I guess, my pain and wanted to help me. So that means a lot to me. It's been other celebrities that have also reached out to us that were not even mentioned. Offset has offered to pay for Jelani's funeral services, and I'm so grateful.
So, you know, I wish that these celebrities would do this for a lot more stories and situations that we've spoken on. But for them to bring attention to this situation, I mean, I'm grateful that at least some of these kids is getting the light that they deserve. But in my opinion, it's still not enough. We got to highlight all of these situations.
That these celebrities think enough of my son to want to spread the word and spread awareness about him, but to also want to show love and generosity and kindness toward him. And he's not even here. So Jelani was not only somebody that you would have loved to know in his natural physical life, but I will make sure that the world knows him in his absence, because Jelani was somebody and he's going to be treated like somebody.
And look, she comes off as a very competent sister. She comes off as, you know, a good mom. Okay. And, you know, it's so messed up that they got to go through this. And that's why I'm doing this story, because I want to bring more awareness to the situation too, because I heard about this a while ago and it's just now kind of picking up traction.
You know, we didn't get the treatment that we deserve on set, but I thank God for my children who they knew they wanted their brother back, and they just went through anything that we had to do by any means necessary to do what we needed to do to make sure that Jelani was found and that we got the help that we were looking for.
Well, I know you are going to figure out to the very end what happened, and I hope we are there to bring about the entire truth. Carmen, you're an amazing mom. Your kids are lucky to have you. Thank you so much for just getting up early for us this morning.
Thank you.
So anyways, guys, I wanted to get into, you know, just clearing up some of the misinformation about this case. And the mother or the family actually are debunking some things that have been going around on social media. So I'm just going to bring light to it. Jelani Day's mother clarifies previous reports of Jelani's organs being missing, cites contradictory facts from two different autopsy reports. Okay, so here we go. Some things need and have to be clarified. No organs were missing. I do not want to stray off from the facts. There were/are contradicting facts from the first preliminary autopsy compared to the second independent autopsy. And that's common. You know, when you get a preliminary autopsy by the state and then you go and do a second autopsy, there are obviously going to be some differences, especially in the state that his body was found. And, you know, he was in water. There's a whole bunch of different factors that can come up. So the results from each autopsy may vary. I mean, that's pretty common in my opinion. This is not a case of organ harvesting that I'm aware of. So social media was trying to paint the picture that it was some, you know, crazy serial killer who they oftentimes try and depict as a white man, but that's not the case. However, my son did not put himself in a river. My son was murdered, and my goal and purpose is to find out what happened and hold those responsible accountable. I need the help of the Illinois State Police and the FBI to find this information.
And welcome to BNC Live. I'm Tishani Whitlow, filling in for Brittany Jones. Our top story tonight, a community in mourning. A funeral service was held for graduate student Jelani Day today. The 23-year-old's body was recovered from an Illinois river just last month. The family says his death is a mystery, as there are still many unanswered questions. Many say Jelani's story sheds light on missing cases involving black and brown people that rarely receive media attention. BNC's Janine Donaldson spoke with his mother today and joins us live from Danville, Illinois. Janine, tough day, I'm sure.
Absolutely, Tishani. The Day family says they can't move forward until they have answers. Today they held a celebration of life for their loved one, Jelani Day, but there are still questions as to whether the body in the casket was actually his. Nearly 4 hours.
Okay. See, this is the stuff, the conspiratorial, what if the body, like, they're doing a little too much. I'm gonna let her cook, though.
Long included a selection of his favorite gospel songs, stories of how he's touched the lives of those around him, resolutions and accolades for all that he accomplished in his 25 years of life. There were also repeated calls for justice. His family is determined to find answers as to how he went missing and who's responsible. Day's mother, Carmen Bolden Day, says the investigation into her son's death has gone nowhere since his body was identified several weeks ago. The family says law enforcement hasn't been forthcoming about details of the investigation, and after several instances of mistreatment and disrespect from officers and the coroner, the family hired a lawyer and private investigator. They also got a private autopsy done, or independent autopsy done, after the first one failed to find a cause and or manner of death. Carmen says the second autopsy left with them with more questions than answers, including if the body they were burying was actually her son.
Either they did something to this autopsy wrong, or somebody, whoever did something to my child, they mutilated my son. And I need to know what happened to him, because Jelani wouldn't have did nothing like that to nobody. He wouldn't have hurt nobody. Jelani shouldn't have been like that. I didn't even get a chance. His brothers and sisters didn't get a chance. His dad didn't get a chance. When people die, you're supposed to be able to make peace and see them. I couldn't even see my baby. I couldn't even look at him because I was scared to look at what that was. But then I had to hear 2 days later what the autopsy report said.
So she says that she didn't look at the body, which I definitely understand, and I empathize with that. But the fact that they're going out saying, oh, it may not be the body that was buried, may not, I mean, why are y'all putting this woman through even more torment? Got her wondering. It's crazy.
And I should have looked at them, because I should have seen what they was looking at.
Carmen tells me the second autopsy revealed the body was severely decomposed, almost down to a skeleton. She says that there were signs of trauma to his brain. He was missing his eyes and also his genitalia. So many more questions that need to be answered. The family says they also still need help getting those.
I don't know. At first I said this might be, some son-on-son crime, and now the fact that they took his eyes and he was missing his genitalia, I mean, I don't know when that happened. That could also have been nature. Unfortunately, that could have been nature. No clue, but that is weird.
Those answers. They've hired an odontologist, but also are looking for a forensic pathologist to get some of those DNA questions that were potentially answered the first time around redone, just for clarity, but much more to go. The family has vowed to get justice for Jelani. Tishani, back to you.
Janine, thank you.
More now on the tragedy involving 25-year-old Jelani Day. Right now, police are still calling this an investigation. They're not ruling out whether Jelani Day's death could become a homicide case. We're waiting for word on that. But joining me right now is Survey Day. He is the brother of Jelani Day. Thank you so much for joining us. We know this is a tragic time for you and your family. First and foremost, our condolences. We have been sharing your family's story, your brother's story. It's heartbreaking, so our condolences first. And the first thing I want to do is just honor his memory. What can you share with us about your brother?
My brother was just like a more innocent version of me. He was always happy. He was always happy to meet new people, always willing and ready to just have fun anytime he could. Just a vibrant spirit, vibrant soul. None of this makes sense. It's definitely a homicide. Just how the police officers, the officials, the detectives, or however they want to title themselves, they're not doing what they need to be doing what they need to be doing to help us find this out.
Yeah, we know that your family reported your brother missing nearly a month ago. Can you describe a little bit what happened with your interactions with police during that time?
Yes, so when we initially found out this, my older brother had contacted me, and instantly we went down to see what was going on. Mainly when anything happens, everybody always calls me, because I'm usually the person that knows everything that's going on, but this time I was like struck and distraught because I didn't know exactly how to explain this to anybody or what to do forward next. So upon meeting up with the police, we got into my brother's apartment. Usually you would think that they would, yellow tape everything. They wouldn't allow anybody to take anything out the home or anything like that, but they did allow me to take my brother's laptop. And myself, and occasionally my sister would come with me to go to different locations and areas to go try to, talk to businesses or officials.
So they were putting in a lot of the footwork in this investigation, the family was. So, like I said, it just goes back to the rhetoric that has been placed upon police. The discouragement of police officers from actually following through with these different leads that come up. The lack of resources, the lack of manpower, all these are factors into why they had to go through extensive lengths to get answers.
It was really us doing this footwork. And then when we found the car 2 days afterwards that my brother went missing in Peru, Illinois, the police there in Peru never did an official search until a week later. It was up to my mom and the family members in our community where we're from. Friends from all over came out to help us conduct a search in the area so that we can go ahead and try to find clues or evidence and report back to them so they can do what their badge is for, so we can find out more evidence, more things, try to help find my brother, because it felt like we were alone in this in the very beginning. They tried to say that was he depressed because of his program. My brothers were not built like that. From a very young age, we would always talk to face our problems head on. So whatever happened, whether it's something that was stressful for us, he would have came and talked to us about it. It was nothing that he would have ran away from or tried to run away from, because he knew he had support, he knew he had help. So it was a lot at first they were trying to say he was depressed and stressed by his master's program. It couldn't have been, and I know it couldn't have been, because we're not built that way.
Gang violence and other kind of violence.
Get away! I could be at work, at school, in my car, and I can still get shot by the police. I can get shot anywhere.
So it is what it is.